You know who made it.
Live from LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. It's Revening's Whiskey Wednesday. Welcome to Whiskey Wednesday, Revenue Party people. We've got lots of hot topics planned for tonight, hot prizes and hot guests. So I'm going to dive right on into it with the agenda. So first topic, cold calling tips. We're going to let Charlotte kick us off with this one. I'll be bringing the guests in here real soon, so stay tuned. I know you're all really excited to meet Charlotte and Kayla, so let me know in the comments if you're excited to meet our guests tonight. Topic 2 is going to be masculine versus feminine energy in sales. Then we'll have a little intermission for you where we'll show some elite saleswomen videos. You'll see our awesome sponsors up here, Headset Advisor and Elite Saleswomen. So intermission, you'll learn all about Kayla and what they're doing at Elite Saleswomen. And then our third topic will be personal branding and social selling, which is huge, everyone. If you're not social selling, if you're not in the comments talking to your prospects, you're not making relationships. I recently had someone ask me, how do you get these guests on Whiskey Wednesday? Are you paying them? And I said, no, half the time I'm just going into their LinkedIn comments and getting to know them and I'm meeting them. So I can't wait to learn from Charlotte on personal branding and social selling. And finally, a new sales method I'm sure that many of you have not heard, heart-driven sales. This is Kayla Hodges' sales method, and we're going to get to hear about it all live right here on Whiskey Wednesday. But first, let's get into the giveaways. Of course, we'll have a Guru of the Week and an after party where all of you can join me and maybe the guests if they can. I will say Charlotte is in Spain, so it's like 3 a.m. there. So let's be kind with her. She may not be able to join us. And I don't know if Kayla can either, but I will definitely be there and we will party all night talking about these topics. So prize 1, we've got Tara LaFon Gooch. She's got 30 minutes consulting for best branding solutions. You're going to want to win this if you're trying to grow your personal brand. We've got Tom Slocum, 1 hour of cold call coaching. Again, everybody said this last week. 1 hour is a long time to give someone free coaching. So you're going to want to take Tom up on this. He is awesome at cold calling. And then next week, we have Catherine Caldwell coming on here, and she does video prospecting. And she's giving up 30 minutes of free video prospecting. So enter to win. You want to tag Whiskey Wednesday at Whiskey Wednesday if you're here on LinkedIn. Tag Whiskey Wednesday to enter to win. And prize 2, we've got Lavender. You get 1 year pro, that license. That's awesome. So if you are using Lavender Pro, let us know in the comments, because Lavender, I mean, you're all hearing about, all these things that are going on with ChatGPT and your content, but really what you need to get your sales email in line is Lavender. It's going to keep you efficient. It's going to keep your words shorter. I mean, they have all of this research and they've built it into this product to help you succeed with your cold outbound emails and really any content. Make social posts with their tools. Also, Brand 30. Thank you, Andrew Mewborn, for sharing this. We've got a lot of you. If you're in the comments and you've been in Brand 30, whether you've won it here on Whiskey Wednesday or you've just done it otherwise, let us know. Would love to hear from you. Let everybody know what you thought of it and why they should join it. And also, we've got Rosalind Santa Elena scheduled next week. So this week, she's giving away a 30-minute consultation. So tag Proposify to enter to win these 3 prizes. Last but not least, tag Elite Saleswomen. Find them here on LinkedIn. Tag Elite Saleswomen to enter to win 30 minutes free coaching session with Kayla yourself. You're going to want this, and you'll see why here in just a minute when I introduce you. And then also, you're going to get 30 minutes of free coaching with Charlotte Lloyd. Again, you will see why you want this as well here in just a minute. And once you get ready to make all these cold calls, you're going to want a nice headset. Thank you so much to Headset Advisor for providing this giveaway. You get this awesome headset right here to help you with these cold calls. All you got to do is enter to win by tagging Elite Saleswomen throughout the show. We will give these prizes away at the end of the event. There you go. I'll show that, and I'll be reminding you throughout the show. Tag Whiskey Wednesday, Proposify, Elite Saleswomen. Of course, we use StreamYard here at Whiskey Wednesday to put this on. I make like $6 if you sign up for this, but I love it. And I can teach you all about it. I can get into it, and I'll talk about it later. So if you hear me talking about it, just use my QR code. Let me know. Also, if you're looking to make phone calls and you're getting your SDR team ready to make a lot of phone calls, you're going to want some really good data of not just your ICP, but the people in your ICP who actually answer their phone. Believe it or not, Ryan Reiser has been able to come up with that data. So scan this QR code. Again, affiliate here with Ryan. Get some phone-ready leads for your team. Did I just give up the Guru of the Week? Oh, no. Okay, well, I'm just going to stop clicking around, and we're going to get right into this. But, oh, no, I think, Karen, you're earlier than expected. Hi, Karen. Are you there?
Yeah. Hello. Is this LinkedIn?
Welcome to Whiskey Wednesday, Karen. I've never had you on this early.
How did I land on this show again?
Didn't you choose to come here?
No, I was on hold. I'm looking for the LinkedIn management team.
Okay, well, let me put you right back on hold. I might be able to find that. I'm just kidding, but I'm going to put you on hold.
Why do I keep calling into this damn show every week?
Well, Karen, you will want to talk to Kayla and Charlotte, and I'm about to bring them in. Can you just hold tight so I can?
Yeah,
I'm going to give
on.
you. Okay.
Hold on.
Well, oh, sorry, Karen, but stay there. Hold tight, Karen. I got Charlotte and Kayla with me. Oh my goodness. Let me change the view here. Thank you so much for joining us, Charlotte and Kayla. Welcome to Whiskey Wednesday.
I was not expecting the Karen thing. That was so funny. I'm sorry. Thank you for having us, Jessie.
Thanks for having us, Jessie.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. And one thing I normally do is ask you to introduce yourself, but we put a cap on it to keep the things fun and to keep you on your toes. So I put a 30-second clock up here, not a 2-minute, 30-second clock, and ask you to introduce yourself. So if you don't mind, Charlotte, could you kick us off and tell everybody who you are?
Yeah, so I'm Charlotte Lloyd. I'm the founder of Simply Sales and Marketing podcast. I'm British, in case you didn't realize from my accent. I also am the global head of partnerships at sales director for Investment Monitor. We're a MarTech solution, so sell content marketing. And I've been sort of on LinkedIn, creating content, sales content I've been on LinkedIn forever. I've actually been on LinkedIn longer than probably anybody here right now. So I was on LinkedIn when it was just a boring business directory, like over 10 years ago. Nobody was creating content. It wasn't fun. It wasn't the community that it is. And in the last 6 months, lots of things have changed since I started sharing content on LinkedIn. So I think that's longer than 30 seconds. I'm going to shut up now.
That's okay. Thank you so much for being here and sharing that. Kayla, I'm going to pass it over to you. Could you tell everybody about yourself?
Yes, thank you again for having me. My name is Kayla Hodges. I'm the #1 female sales trainer under 30. I'm the founder and CEO of Elite Saleswomen, which is the only sales training company that is specifically designed for women. I'm also a mommy of a really beautiful 10-year-old little girl. And, our mission is to go to third world countries, help women learn the skills to be able to actually change your life. My heart goes into anyone that's been through violent situations as well. So we really want to get them out of those situations and also get the skills to be able to have the life that they want. Thank you.
That's really beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us. And I know a lot of people in the community, when I first came across you, Kayla, I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, I just ran across this person and look at what they're doing. And so a lot of people who are watching, I know, have kind of seen the evolution of me, like learning about you and what you're doing. And so I'm just really excited to have you here. And thank you for everything that you've done for that nonprofit to help support women and teach sales skills to literally help people pull themselves up and get into a better place. So that's really beautiful. But without further ado, let's hop into our first topic. I know it's late there in Spain, Charlotte, so let's hop into cold calling tips. What can you tell the listeners about cold calling?
Okay, I'm going to say something quite controversial, but the goal of your cold call is not to book the meeting. So everybody's probably going to react to that in some way. Okay, it is to book the meeting, but you want to go into your cold call with the mindset that you're talking to a friend. So I talk about the 4 R's. You want to research, you want to give a reason for your call, you want to be relevant, and you want to be real. And actually there's a 5th, you want to be relaxed. So when I started cold calling many years ago, it used to be something that was really, really nerve-wracking, and it can still be really nerve-wracking for a lot of reps. So yeah, the mindset is go in as if you're going to talk to a friend, that not that you're going to book a meeting. And I'm a big fan of the permission-based opener. So, and it also, I think there's some research, I think Tom Slocum, he's here, he was talking about this, but there's some research that the permission-based opener works a lot better with women. So typically I'll start my cold call. I'll go, hey, I know you're not expecting my call this morning or this evening. Do you mind if I take a few moments to tell you why I'm calling, and you can decide if it makes sense if we should speak? And I've never had a single prospect say to me, oh, no, like, go ahead. I always get a go ahead. Explain the reason for my call. This is Charlotte from Investment Monitor. I'm calling because, typically when I speak to marketing leaders like yourself, they're having a problem with their marketing lead gen and communicating with the sales team. So then I'll go into the reason why it's relevant for the person to listen. And usually starting with the permission-based opener, I get a really good response. Nobody's thrown me off the phone. So that's the first thing. I don't know if anyone has any questions. Oh, I can't hear anything.
Oh, was I on mute? Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do we have any comments? Yeah, feel free to plug those in. And while you do, in the meantime, Kayla, I know you make your fair share of cold calls. What would you tell listeners about tips, or what would be your reaction to what Charlotte was sharing?
No, I like it. I think it's a great approach. The main reason when you're calling somebody, the first thing you have to understand is that a lot of people have had an experience with a bad sales call before. So because you understand that and you know that no one wants to get a sales call today, we have to think differently. We have to think like, how can I make sure that this person feels comfortable, feels safe, so that they don't have like red flags come up in their body and go, I need to get off this call right now. Right. So being transparent, right? Like that's, a good approach. I haven't used that one myself. I typically try to say like the reason as to why they would want to get on a call, try to say like a result oriented thing. Some type of tonality in order to make sure that they feel disarmed, and coming in and saying like, hey, I realized that you might possibly want X, right? Putting the result that they want, and being really transparent about who you are. And honestly, it's really not just about what you're saying, but how you're saying it. So I think it'd be a really, really different approach if, you know, Charlotte came on and she's like, hey, I don't know, like if this is going to be the right time for me to call, or I know you weren't expecting my call, and it came off with such a rash tone and it came off really fast, it might scare the prospect away, right? But if she came in and she's like, hey, I know that you weren't really expecting my call this morning, and she went into the next aspect, right? Now this person's going to be a lot more open just because of the tonality and how she's coming in. So there's so much that has to do with cold calling. Honestly, repetition is going to be everything, and you have to put in the reps to be able to know what to do.
That's really awesome. Oh, Karen. I forgot that Karen was here with us. Karen, how's it going? Meet Kayla and Charlotte.
Hey, Kayla. Hey, Charlotte. You know, I get called all the time. And I don't know how these SAS kids find my phone number every single day. I am on the do not call list. Like, I've actually gone to the do not call list and got myself removed. The federal government has me off their list because I called them. And I'm still getting called. It's these data providers, these Ferrari driving data provider CEOs. They're all out in their Lambos and driving around, charging the SAS kids up on all their data costs. And they're using my mobiles. Even the SAS kids like PRL, like Ryan. First of all, I know he's got my number and he knows I pick up the phone. He's got great data. But I don't want to go there because I don't want to be called.
I don't know. Like, what do
I do to get off the damn list?
Sounds like it's really inappropriate to cold call you, Karen.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's what will happen. I'll be on the soccer field. I leave work, you know, I'm in HR. We leave at about 3:30, 4 o'clock, you know, it's a full day. We get to the soccer field. Little Johnny's kicking around soccer balls. And he's about ready to score a goal. He hasn't scored one this year, but I think he will. And all of a sudden, my phone blows up with the SAS kids. Do you have 27 seconds? Do you have 28 seconds? I just can't take it anymore from these kids.
Yeah.
I call their managers, and you know, and I'm not a fan of layoffs. I'm doing a lot of them over here right now in my HR department. But you know, if there was a group of people, you know, and this is a tough conversation to have, hard conversations, but I'm angry right now. Stop calling my personal cell phone.
Yeah, I don't know, Karen, but it's just how people reach people. I mean, Charlotte, Kayla, what do you say to the Karens of the world?
See, this is honestly like what makes me sad about the sales industry is because of this, right? Like, this is absolutely unacceptable, that the fact that people think like this. And it's because, like, you know, of the broiler, like, boom industry, like the 1980s came and they want their sales tactics back, right? And so, you know, like, it's became an industry standard of like pushing, hard closing. And that's why people are scared of learning how to sell. Like, sales should not feel like that. It should not feel like that to the prospect. It should not feel like that to, you know, the people that are doing it. There has to be a sense of, you know, respect and honor to the people around you, you know, and I think that that's what the new level of sales is doing. Like, people are waking up, people are more conscious these days. And because of that, and because this buyers are getting smarter, the sales skills have to elevate to be able to make people feel comfortable. And no one should be blowing up somebody's phone that doesn't want to talk to you. Like, that's a waste of time and energy for both people, both parties.
Thank you.
That was a great response. Karen.
That was amazing. I think we need to it's usually the SAS bros that are calling. And I think we need more women in sales leadership. And
You're here to that.
If there's a fast way to do this, I mean, whatever we got to do to get this thing fixed, get this problem taken care of. You know, I look around and it's these, you know, little Johnny's playing soccer, and inside these SAS halls, they're playing football. You know, it's game day for these kids. And they come on the phone, they're yelling at me, drinking a lot of water, doing everything, spitting on each other. And they're making a lot of cool calls, and they're making a lot of people upset. They give out my number like candy. But I pick up, Ryan, you know I pick up. Stop selling my data. Take me off your list.
Oh yeah, Ryan doesn't have Karen ready leads. Apparently, he just has phone ready leads. So we've got. He's got to get.
Karen ready. Trust me.
I don't know, Charlotte. Anything else you could share with Karen?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with what Kayla was saying. You know, it's time to elevate the sales profession. And I think, I don't know what the stats are on sort of women doing cold calling. I think perhaps we have an slightly easier time than men because of that boiler room sort of, years ago, sales was all about that. And cold calls was like, right, I just want to sell you what I want to sell you without really thinking about the prospect, So
I think the four of us could really get this thing changed. We got to get these SaaS kids to stop calling our cell phones.
I think so too. We got to get these SaaS sisses armed and ready to go. What do you guys say? Cheers to that.
Yeah,
Karen?
down. I love that.
Well,
Karen, I've got a question for you.
Go ahead.
How do you feel about cold FaceTiming?
Well, I mean, it depends on the person on the other end. I mean, if Johnny's kicking around soccer balls and I've got, I'm on the sidelines with my water bottle, we mix a little bit of a cocktail sometimes, the girls and I, on the sidelines, we'll mix ourselves a nice drink. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't want the SaaS kids FaceTiming me either. I would prefer maybe an email or a link, a LinkedIn. Some of the ones I don't like though are the those video ones that the SaaS kids. Some of those feel a little sad.
Oh yeah. So next week you're really gonna meet Catherine Caldwell because that's what she teaches is video prospecting.
Well, she better teach some of the SaaS kids in my inbox.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe she's got some gated ebooks. I don't know, Kayla, Charlotte, if you've heard, but Karen loves gated ebooks. So if anyone has any gated ebooks, send them to Karen because she collects them. Everybody in the audience, send us your gated ebooks. Plug them into the comments. We'll get them your way, Karen.
Yeah, I mean, I fill out forms. I mean, I'm not going to hide behind a form. I mean, that isn't right. Just to avoid a call. I don't usually put my cell phone in there. I mean, sometimes I accidentally do because I use one of those password managers that always is filling everything out. But, I just don't want to be called by the SaaS kids anymore. And I want them to take me off lists. I mean, how many lists do you got to get off? It's a full-time job here.
Yeah, I don't know. Karen, I guess we didn't find the answer for you again tonight, but Catherine Caldwell's here. She's in the comments. So you should definitely come tomorrow because she's the one doing video prospecting. So I bet you she might have some good tips for you too. Maybe we bring her.
Well, thank you, Jesse. And I appreciate you putting up with me every week. I mean, I've been trying to get through to LinkedIn. I think they're right now part of the problem. I think the SaaS kids have some way of getting into your LinkedIn and figuring out your phone number. So, I'm going to challenge LinkedIn on that a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
I want to hold them accountable.
I don't know, but Karen, I always like when you stop by Whiskey Wednesday, so I hope you do it every week. I hope to see you next week.
Well, thank you. And you ladies have a wonderful evening.
You do the same, Karen.
Bye, Karen.
Karen's awesome. I hope you guys didn't mind Karen. I freaking love Karen. She cracks me up. But anything else on cold calling that you guys want to touch on before we move into masculine versus feminine energy in sales?
Anyone have a question in the comments? Anything?
Someone's on Twitch. It looks like Marin's on Twitch. So that's awesome. You can comment on Twitch. All right. Well, I'm going to move into the next topic. Masculine versus feminine energy in sales. I saw some new women I had never met on LinkedIn sharing this event and being like, I am so excited to hear what they're going to say about masculine versus feminine energy in sales. So Kayla, kick us off on this one and take it away.
Yeah, no, I thank you. So first, I just had a basis of this because we have to understand one thing, which is when I first started in sales, I did a lot of B2B sales and then eventually moved into B2C. And when I first started in sales, much like most people when they first started, I really sucked. I was horrible at sales. And I knew I had to figure it out. I was a waitress before that. And so I needed to have something else. And so in school, biochem, waitressing at night, studying during the day. And I'm getting this opportunity to go into a really amazing B2B role, right? We were doing smart home automation, and we would go into job sites and we would quote these homes for these huge systems, like $3 million systems for these homes to become smart homes. And the thing is that I had a really bad stutter. And whenever I'd walk onto a job site, I didn't know what to do. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to, start studying. So I took every single sales course possible, and I read every single sales book I could. I woke up at 4 a.m. every morning, and I just like became a sponge, like reading, learning. And the thing is that I realized, even from that moment to when I was in B2C, making 220 calls a day, every single sales training that I've ever done, every single sales book I've ever read was always by men for men. Always. And I was like trying to think, I was like, this doesn't feel good for me. Like, I don't know about you, but like sometimes 220 calls a day while you're a mom and everything else is like a lot on my body. Like it was so overwhelming, and I just felt completely out of alignment. I'm like, there has to be a better way to do this, especially with overcoming objections. And I was learning such like hard skills. Like somebody would say, oh, I'm not interested. And I'm like, of course you're not interested, because if you were interested, I'd be calling you or you'd be calling me versus me calling you. Ha ha ha. Like going in that. And they would teach us this stuff. I would have flashcards, and I just was like, this doesn't make sense. And here's the thing. As a woman, you have this really natural abilities to sell, right? As a woman, you naturally are more empathic than men, because we are designed to be nurturers. And the second thing that's the most important thing is like women listen to understand, right? We actively listen, trying to understand. And the whole thing with sales, regardless of any type of sales you're in, is learning how to find a problem and make it so big in the prospect's mind that they feel internally disturbed to where they have to make a change today. If you get to an end of a call and there's a lot of objections that are coming up, it's because somewhere in the sales process, you've triggered this person to feel like uncomfortable with you, to feel like, oh, like I don't trust this person, or I'm uncertain that this person can deliver a result, or maybe you were just talking really fast and you made them feel uncomfortable. Like something happened in the sales process when a lot of objections are coming up. And as a woman, if you can learn how to use your femininity and use the assets that you already have versus trying to learn how to sell like a man and learning everything we've ever learned, I'm like, what can I do that would really help a prospect like get through the finish line? And like, how can I use my femininity to help them be able to do that? And I started having these aha moments with my prospects, and then I started using them with my clients, and it worked really well. So if I had like 30 seconds to teach you one thing tonight, it would really just be your tonality when you're trying to discover this person's problem, regardless if you're in B2B or B2C, right? There is a problem underneath a problem. Anyone that tells you their problem is not actually the real problem. And if you can learn how to be a problem finder, if you can learn how to find the problem that's 7 or 8 layers deep, and you make it like, oh my gosh, like how are they living with this? Or how's this company surviving with this amount of loss that's coming out every single month? And you do it in a feminine way, meaning you are listening to understand and you're in a state of curiosity. Bob, like what would be the probability of you wanting to move forward with having like sales training for your company, right? And you're talking about sales training with Bob. And he's saying, look, like, Kayla, I appreciate you, but we just spent all of our budget, on that for this quarter, like come back in 2 quarters. And, a lot of times we like listen to that and we move on versus becoming really curious about what problem could exist that this person is not covering. So instead, in a state of curiosity, you could find out about like, if they didn't have sales training, what would the problem be? Well, the problem would be that maybe they're not hitting the numbers or the quota that's happening. Maybe they're not hitting the KPIs. Maybe they are having high turnover rate because they're not able to keep good salespeople. Like, well, how much is that costing them? How much is it costing them to train new employees every, week or every month that the turnover rate is coming? And so I started asking questions in a state of curiosity to understand what the real problem is. And I'm talking in more of a motherly, nurturing tone. I'm slowing down in a way that you feel connected to me, that I'm grounded that I'm intelligent with what I'm doing, and that I'm here to really understand what's going on. And by doing so, it allows space for somebody to feel comfortable enough to open up and tell me what's going on underneath the layers. And so I think it's just really important that we don't try to learn how to sell like the way a guy sells. A guy is designed to hunt. They are designed to go out and hunt. They're wired that way. Back in the buffalo days, like Bob wasn't running out to get the buffalo and going, oh no, like Stacy looked at me this weird this morning and she hasn't picked up a little Tommy all week. Like that doesn't happen, because men are designed to execute, and women were designed a little differently. And so how can we use the assets that we have, like our ability to care and our empathy and our nurturing abilities, to be able to help us close deals faster and more efficient? And in fact, we actually have the ability to close deals at 11% higher rate, according to a recent study that I just read. I think it was like Harvard Journal or something. I don't know what exactly it was, but we have this great ability to be able to be more persuasive, to influence people. We have this beautiful intuition that's already inside of us. And so like, why aren't we teaching people to use that? Well, it's because no one ever has, right? And so I'm really allowing myself to pivot the way of what that looks like to be able to help women close more deals. And maybe you have all the skills, but something inside of you, feels off. You don't want to perform. And that's because sometimes we, as women, we're more emotional and we like to, hold on to family stuff. And therefore we're bringing all that stuff with us at work. And we also get to learn the ability to remove that stuff and really do interpersonal work so that we're not blocked and we are performing. There's a lot that goes in it, but I think that women are really powerful if you use the assets that you already have. I hope that is helpful. I don't know if anyone has any questions.
That was awesome. I mean, I don't know of anyone else in sales who's ever really touched on this topic. So I think it's brilliant, and you've done a great job of sort of putting words to all of this, thought. And like, if you're on TikTok, you definitely hear all the talk about feminine energy versus masculine energy, and then there's dark feminine energy. Someone in the comments was saying, I think we do have both feminine energy and masculine. I think you can have a little bit of both, right?
Yes, we use both.
Yeah. But there's also dark feminine, and so that's worth Googling if you haven't. But Charlotte, what would you add on all of this?
So from personal experience, I worked in a company for 13 years, which like nobody does anymore. And I was like there were two of us, the female sellers. So, we were surrounded by men. The men would sort of have this, what we call in the UK, like the SAS bros, the old boys network. They would go to the pub, to the bar. They wouldn't invite. I was never invited. My colleague was never invited, also a woman. And even with my then boss, I felt like there were conversations that I was excluded from because I was a woman. And somehow I felt that I had to work harder than my male. I know it's changing now, but it still needs to change. I had to work harder than my male counterparts. And at the time, I'm like pretty certain I was getting paid less. So, it felt like, I don't know, this was the environment that I was in. The men were getting paid more. They were sort of selling less, almost not working as hard. And they would have their little club and they would have their conversations. And, you had to sort of compete with that sort of male energy. It could be quite difficult at times. And I never spoke up about it because I felt that I might get into some kind of trouble, So, I've made a few posts about it on LinkedIn, and I've had a lot of support, and a lot of women have contacted me and said, oh, thank you for sharing that. Men would make comments sometimes like, oh, you should go and do this show, or you should go meet these clients because, you're a woman, you're going to win the business. I had to listen to all of these kind of comments. So, yeah, I think, what Kayla said was pretty spot on. Things still need to change. Back then they were worse, but they're getting a lot better now.
That's brilliant. And I would love to hear more from you on that topic, Charlotte. And I think
as a woman, sometimes you're afraid to speak out.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Especially sort of in Europe. I feel that in the US, you do talk about these difficult topics a lot more. In Europe, I think we have more of a fear. And it's the same, when it comes to personal branding. on LinkedIn, so many people, tell me, oh, I'm afraid to post this and I'm afraid to put this comment, or, what is my boss going to say? There's a real climate of fear that we need to really sort of get past and put out those difficult conversations on social media, so that we raise awareness and that we bring about change.
Absolutely. Kayla, anything more you want to add on this topic?
Yeah, I'm completely in alignment with you, Charlotte, on that. I think that's a whole nother can of worms. But I do want to mention one thing that was kind of brought up, but I saw a few comments on it as well. When we talk about masculine versus feminine selling, we're not talking about male versus female. We're not. I did mention that there isn't any women, specifically women training for women in sales. And the reason why that's important, which men, you might not understand this, but like sometimes us ladies are going through things, like we're going through different times in our month and different things that are happening, and like sometimes we don't want to get out of bed and we're emotionally drained and there's things that are happening that we need tools for to be able to have the breakthrough. Or sometimes we don't want to have the direct conversations or confrontational conversations or talking about numbers and negotiations. We want to shut down because of things that we've been through in our past that maybe you guys have not been able to experience. So it's important that we have that support system. When there's masculine and feminine energy, I have very masculine energy and very feminine energy. Masculine, like I get shit done. I've always been like a hustler, getting things done, organizations. I use my left and right brain. I have everything's color coordinated, like organization, like I'm in my masculine. But at the same time, I need to learn how to drop into my feminine, and so I can be able to listen. So I think somebody said on there that they use a very active listening system in order to nurture clients. I think that that's really beautiful. I think guys absolutely should be able to do that as well. So I just want to be really clear that I'm not trying to say a difference between man versus female, but I do think that we get to tap into both energies of what that would look like, and at the same time support more women so that they know how to navigate the sales process, because they don't think like a guy. Guys think one thing at a time. We think multiple things at a time. We go to the fridge, we open it. You guys go to the fridge, open it. You're like, I'm hungry, I get food. Us women, we go to the fridge, we open it, we see something dirty, we're like, oh, I had to clean the fridge. Guys, you would never do that. You would need to eat, right? So we just think differently, and that's okay.
But some men have feminine energy, and I don't know, I guess my husband might, because he opens the fridge and he sees a mess and he cleans it. So like not everybody is the same, but like, yeah, and I definitely hear this, and I totally love this movement of embracing your femininity, because that's one thing I get a lot of comments about with Whiskey Wednesday. It's like, holy cow, Jesse, you show up on LinkedIn with earrings on and you're wearing eyeliner and you're like, I wear colors and I dress like a woman, and it shocks a lot of people. And I think that that's really sad. And so I think that we have to keep showing up, being ourselves. It's okay to be feminine. And honestly, it's like, let's own it, because there's power in being feminine and having that feminine energy. So thank you so much for talking us through that, Kayla. With that, we have a quick intermission. So it should only be 2 minutes long, but go ahead and learn more about elite saleswomen here in just a moment. And when we come back, we'll finish topics 3, topics 4, and we'll be giving away prizes. So make sure you are tagging Whiskey Wednesday, Proposify, and elite saleswomen. Other than that, we'll see you after these messages.
sales. I think it's wrong. I think you need to lead with integrity. And if your product or service is in alignment with what the person needs or wants and they can afford it, then you're leading with your heart. And when you get curious as to what they want and you can provide value, then the sales process is easy and it's a flow. I talk about it being a symphony. It's just so good. That's heart-driven sales. Caring enough to not pitch if they're not the right client, and caring enough to continue to believe in that person until they say yes.
That was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing those videos, Kayla. And before we dive into the third topic, is there anything you can tell the audience about your company, Elite Saleswomen, and direct them to where they can sign up?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Wow. I was just looking at that. I felt a little like just gratitude overwhelmed. I don't know if anyone else here has ever tried to start their own business before. I've probably started 10 or 11 businesses in my life, a juice company, I think a clothing company, all the other stuff. And just kind of seeing what has happened so fast in the short, few months that we started to right now has been profound. Our main mission is to help women learn how to sell and how to sell extremely well using a heart-driven approach that feels really good to them, really good to their client, really good to the organization that they're with. We train our girls for 6 months, come in and build out all their sales processes, build out all their scripts, and really work with them in a lot of role play, stopping them, slowing them down, helping them learn the tonality, the ability to influence people, the ability to negotiate, the ability to close and feel really good in the close. And just watching them go from night and day has been a really, really beautiful journey. You can find us at, what is the @ sign? Elite Saleswomen on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Right now, I think that we're redoing our website, so that should be out, very soon. I think we have a podcast coming out. It's just been really, really beautiful watching this develop, and yeah, I don't know. I'm just really so overwhelmed and so grateful for just seeing the evolution. I've grown several multi-million-dollar businesses for guys in my life, and this has been the first time that my company took off. And I just am overwhelmed, and I feel so grateful for the women's lives that we're impacting every single day.
That's amazing. Thanks for what you're doing. Well, let's hop into this third topic to switch gears. Charlotte, we're going to ask you to kick us off on this one. So personal branding and social selling. Both of you have done a tremendous job with this. By the way, if you're not following either of them on TikTok, that's where I found both of you actually originally, was on TikTok. They have excellent TikTok pages and excellent Instagram pages. So yes, LinkedIn is great, but there are other social platforms that you can build your personal brand on. But why don't you dive into that and tell us a little bit more about what we can be doing to have that competitive edge right now with personal branding?
Yeah, great stuff. Thanks, Jessie. So your personal brand is your reputation when you're not in the room, what people say about you. I think it's good to try different social media channels, but what I want to say is that it's important to work the best one that works for you. I've experimented with like all of them apart from YouTube, and I think if there's one or two that you're really good at, then that's where you should stay. I think too many people try and diversify too much, and I think you can be too many things to too many people on different channels. So go where your customers are. For me, my personal branding journey is a little bit sort of different because I've been on LinkedIn forever, as I said at the start, like years, like on LinkedIn, and it was completely different. The pandemic came along and I switched roles and I went into sort of a SaaS type role from a very traditional sales background. So I had to sort of change, adapt, get new sales skills very quickly, even though I've been in sales a long time, everything's always changing. And I started creating content on LinkedIn probably 7 months ago. And I started putting out different topics, different polls. And I'm thinking, what am I was trying to find my voice. So the most important thing is to find your voice. And I think most people that are here today have quite a good presence on LinkedIn already. And then I started talking about sales topics, and it came from sort of frustration of not actually coaching people in the companies that I work for. So I always was quota carrying, coached some people very early on, but it was something that I really wanted to do. So I thought, right, I'm going to create content on LinkedIn. I'm going to see where it goes. And I started getting a lot of feedback, a lot of DMs from salespeople saying, oh, I like your approach. You're telling it how it is. You're saying what works, what doesn't work. And I think most people, and you'll probably agree with this, when you first start doing it, you're sort of gripped by this fear. It's like, what's my boss going to think? Or what are my colleagues or co-workers going to think? What are my friends going to think? And I think, you just need to get past that. One of the other most important things as well is consistency. So back like even 3 months ago, I was sort of putting posts out, not really thinking about what I wanted to post. So now I plan my posts. And it's been a really interesting journey for me, because the company that I work for at the moment, Investment Monitor, a lot of my prospects are not using LinkedIn very actively at all. So it's like, I'm one thing that they said, and they'll send me like emails and they'll say, oh, I really like your sales tips. I really like what you're putting out there, but they never post. So it's been like trying to educate them and say, look, you need to start posting, and you need to start posting content that, on a topic that doesn't necessarily have to be about your work, but something that you really enjoy talking about. So another thing that I see on LinkedIn is a lot of AEs, salespeople. They might post about community. They might post about personal branding. They might post about copywriting. So you have to like pick a topic that you really, really enjoy and can talk about. And that, it's just something that you're really passionate about. Social selling. So 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I'd never used LinkedIn Sales Navigator. I obviously hadn't posted any content on LinkedIn. So it doesn't matter. And I'm as old as the hills, right? So it doesn't matter sort of how old you are if you've never done it before. I got to, and I'm still number one on, I think, the social selling index on LinkedIn Sales Navigator in my company. So number one out of, I think, 300 and something people. But I taught myself how to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So there's that kind of element to it. But with social selling, so I pick my prospects. I'll go on their posts. If they're not on LinkedIn, I'll find them somewhere on Twitter. But I'm regularly commenting, looking at what they post. They put out articles. I'm reading those articles. I'm not saying, hey, great that you switched jobs. Great that you did this. Great that you did that. I'm actually going in and putting a thoughtful comment and asking them a question. So, social selling is not just you putting your posts out there. It is about taking charge of your personal brand, but it's also about, engaging with your prospects and engaging with them regularly. I think a lot of you guys already do that. But for me, it's kind of interesting because a lot of the people that I've met on LinkedIn have been, salespeople coming to me because my prospects are not so active on LinkedIn. So it's been quite an interesting story. And yeah, social selling, we're going to see is just going to be more and more important. I think so many people still don't realize, LinkedIn is still underutilized as a social selling tool. So.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I know a lot of people in the audience are building their personal brands. So if there's anything you've learned along the way, plug it into the comments, let us know. Or if you have comments and questions about it as we're talking, put it into the comments, let us know. Kayla, tell us about personal branding and social selling from your perspective. What tips or tricks might you be able to share?
Yeah, every one of you has a unique oomph about you or about your company. Like, what is your oomph? And it could be something physical on the outside, right? Something like branding colors, my hair. I can't tell you. I had no idea what I was doing. I can literally never have not red hair now because I've created such a brand. Like on TikTok, I went to ClickFunnels in September and I had like 20 people stop me and ask to take a picture with me. You're the redhead girl in sales. I want to take a picture with me. And I don't know if I didn't have the red hair, if that would have been such powerful branding and marketing. And, at the same time, it is important to care about people. Like if you're showing up just for you versus posting for your prospect, right, you're not going to get the same return. Sometimes we're wanting the validation. Oh, I did something great. And then you post it, but like, who are you posting that for? So really think like, how can I serve? How can I be there for the people that are watching me? What value can I provide for them? If they looked at my page, would they be like, man, like, this is a lot of value. I see how I can potentially have a relationship with this company or relationship with this person, or I want to do business. And the number one secret for all of this is your authenticity. You get to be you. Again, your oomph, right? Like your rawness, your authenticity, your being transparent is going to be the thing that people relate to, because no one likes perfect anymore. They want somebody that they can be relatable to. They want company culture to be relatable to. It's, you got to stand in that.
Yes, very important. Very, very important. That's awesome. I think both of you have been able to set yourselves apart in a really unique way with your personal brand. So you've done an excellent job. Do you think it's important? So consistency is, of course, extremely important, but you know, getting started is hard, so people can feel overwhelmed. So if someone's listening and they haven't started yet and they want to start building a personal brand, what would you suggest to them?
I would say take very small steps, like commit to 2 or 3 posts a week in the beginning, because what I see people doing, people go in thinking that they need to post every single day, and you know, you don't want to be doing that at the start. And I think that's where, you know, I see a lot of people start and then they give up because they put too much pressure on themselves, and it's not enjoyable when you do that. You know, Kayla was saying that you've got to be real, you've got to be relatable. You know, that's not you. So, you know, go in, post 2 or 3 times a week, something that, and post as if you're talking to a friend. So, you know, you use you and I, stop sounding, I used to write like horrendous corporate posts, you know, which just sounded like, you know, oh, my brand, or well, not my brand, but my company's brand, you know. So take that sort of, disconnect yourself from whoever you work for, and just be you, you know. So, you know, if you like talking about surfing, if you're a surfer, I think James Parry's like really big into this, and he posts a lot of that on LinkedIn. And, you know, his posts are fun. His posts are, you want to read them because you might be, you know, you might have had, you want to be entertained. So 3 things. Think, am I going to entertain someone? Am I going to challenge them? Am I going to educate them? And that's they're really the 3 pillars that you need to follow.
Absolutely. Those are great. Anything else you'd add before we move on, Kayla?
I like those, and I would also add social proof, right?
Social proof, so important.
Like educational, you know, social proof is super great. Also your personal life, right? Like, what do you like to do in your lifestyle? If you're a family person, like, show your family. I can't tell you, like, no one wants to do business with somebody where they pull up your profile and it's just business, 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 because you don't feel like you're a real person. It's like, oh, a VA posted all this stuff for you. You know, this is not actually you running this account, and you think that you're doing a good job by giving your customer exactly what they need. Like, no, the customer wants to experience you, and they want to see other people celebrating you too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, one thing I'll add is, I think it's great to see the personal posts. There's a lot of, I get a lot of people saying to me, oh, but I want to go viral. You shouldn't be thinking about going viral, and the viral posts are not the ones that usually bring your clients and your customers. There's a lot of posts now of selfies, you know, which it's almost like the Instagramification of LinkedIn. I don't mind the odd selfie, but I think when I see it, I just kind of think, oh, this person wants likes and they want engagement. And, you know, unless it's a really sort of well thought out picture, you know, it's family, that kind of thing, I think is fine. But too many selfies, and it's like, you know, just make sure the message that you put, if you're telling your story, like, this was my journey, this is what happened to me in my career, and you put a selfie, I think that's okay. But just putting too many is just a bit like, I can't take you seriously.
I'd rather see a selfie than a stock image, though. Like, I just, like, B2B is so cliche. Like, you know, I could just think of these, like, the cliche picture of, like, a man's face with, like, computer stuff coming out of the brain. It's like, how many times have I seen that stock image? Like, why are you posting that? You know, it's like people connect with people, not brands. So go out and just be a real human.
Yeah.
You know, and then people will connect with you. But on that note, I'm going to dive into our last topic, heart-driven sales. And Kayla, I'm going to let you kick us off and tell us all about it.
Yes. So heart-driven sales is my curated methodology that I basically took all of my sales training that I ever did, and I wanted to add a more humane component. Your ability to care about people will really set you apart. Your ability to exceed people's expectations. And, you know, from the sales call to, you know, before sales call prospecting to follow up, right? Like, how can you exceed somebody's expectations? How can you make somebody feel important? And I think that so many people are walking around with a big sign on themselves saying, like, I want to feel important. And if you can make someone do that, it will really transform the way that you do business and the way that you make money and the way that your company grows and scales. One like tip I think I would say is acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is the most powerful tool that you could possibly use in your personal relationships, in the beginning of a sales call, in your follow-up process. Everyone wants to be acknowledged, and most people are unwilling to acknowledge people. So let's say that I first get on a call with you and you're having a sales call with me. The first thing that I would do is I would take an extra 5 minutes before we get on a call and I would look you up. I would take the time, not just the questionnaire that you might have sent me or, you know, the notes that the appointments that are made. I would take the time and I would research you. I would look you up on LinkedIn. I would look you up on Facebook. I would look you up on Instagram. Like, you have a family, what's going on? And not only that, to get insight about you, I'm like, well, how does this person think, right? What is the last thing that they posted about? Oh my gosh, their son just got accepted into this college, you know, and I'm like trying to like learn, and I'm like, oh, and they're super proud of that. And so when I first get on a call, instead of me doing the hi, hello, like, how's your day? How's the weather? Where are you from? Oh, I've never been there. What's one great place about there that everybody else does? What if you took an extra 5 minutes and you were like, hey, you know, Sarah, I just wanted to say I saw your post this morning about your son being accepted into that university. And I wanted to acknowledge you for being such a great mom. You know, like, you really show up, and I could tell that you were super proud in your message. And I just really wanted to honor you. I'm really happy for you, and I'm happy for your son. Right? If you start a call like that, it changes the whole dynamic of everything, right? And that's just like B2C, like B2B, right? You're acknowledging like the company and its growth. And I just saw an article that recently got published about you guys. And I just really want to honor you for, you know, holding it together. I know it's hard sometimes making sure everything is pristine. And I just really honor you guys for, you know, being one of the best. And you start framing these people to start thinking that, you know, they're super intelligent and that you're honoring them and that they're important. It changes that dynamic. Also in follow-up processes, you know, I've really learned to exceed people's expectations when it comes to follow-up. When's the last time you got a handwritten card? When's the last time that you sent like flowers to an office or remembered somebody's birthday, like one of your clients' birthdays, or, you know, trying to get the deal across. And so you go out of your way to think creatively of how to get it done. Maybe I was the chocolate chip cookie girl. When I was in B2B, man, everyone got chocolate chip cookies. They remembered me. Fridays, chocolate chip cookies were coming and you are going to be doing business with me. Otherwise, you're not going to have chocolate chip cookies. And it's the small things. It's the small details. And my whole entire process is really built on a lot of behavioral psychology and really thinking about how I can make this person feel important during the whole entire process and really connect on a heart level versus me just asking questions just because I'm trying to get a sale close versus actually caring about this person and the results that are possible for them and getting them through.
It's brilliant. And it reminds me in some ways of Sam McKenna, who's been on this show before, because her saying is show me, you know me. So it's a little bit different, but it's kind of the same sort of theory, is like understand who they are. I like what you add about acknowledge them, because you're right. People do like to be acknowledged.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've learned just by engaging with you is sometimes I'm really bad at that. And like the way I start conversations just on the regular, I'm on the fly. So I just assume everybody's on the fly with me. But no, I need to stop and acknowledge everybody separately. So that's a really big piece.
No, thank you. I think that it's beautiful for all of us to learn it because we also don't acknowledge ourselves, right? So if you're not acknowledging other people, it's because you're also not acknowledging you. So it's just a continuous allowing of yourself to honor you and honor the people around you. And if you're honoring everyone around you, guess what? They're going to cherish the crap out of you. You know, it's like a win-win for everybody. Like, when's the last time, I know some people on here have kids. When's the last time you acknowledged your kid and told them how amazing they are and how special they are and how smart they are and that you're so proud to be their mom or dad? Like, when's the last time that has happened? And the thing is that we forget because we're so busy. And guess what? Like, time flies by and then all of a sudden they're not in the house anymore. You know, so we get to step into leadership in all areas of our life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Anything you
Stand
wanna
out.
add? Go ahead, Charlotte.
No, I was saying, yeah, stand out, go that extra mile, you know, show that you care, not that just you want somebody's business.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, these are all great topics. If anyone in the comments has any questions on heart-driven sales method, plug them in. We still have both guests here. And we do still have to get through a few things. We've got Guru of the Week. We've got to give away the prizes. But, you know, I know you're in Spain, Charlotte, so I'm going to try to get everything out of the way that I know that you want to participate on. So the first one would be Guru of the Week. So I got to get in the mood, but normally I sing Guru of the Week. Oh, Guru of the Week. Okay. So we're going to pull it up and I'm going to count down to 3. And on the count of 3, say the Guru of the Week's name, which I kind of showed earlier. So if you're in the comments and you saw who it is, feel free to plug them in. But Charlotte, 1, 2, 3, who's the Guru?
Josh Braun.
I pulled up the wrong one. Josh Braun. Let me pull this up. Josh Braun is Guru of the Week. Why did you choose Josh Braun?
Actually, I've got someone else as well. So Josh has impacted sort of me and what I'm doing in sales, like, you know, this non-persuasive way. You know, I used to be part of the sort of the old boys network and, you know, it was pressurized boiler room sales and he's completely not about that at all. I'm going to say as well, I've got another guru, which I didn't mention because we're talking about women and there's so few women in sales. I'm going to mention Samantha McKenna because as you were saying before, Jessie, show me, you know me, genuine kindness and, you know, she is so polite. And when she came on my podcast, you know, that's what stood out about her. So I've not got one guru, I've got 2, but shout out to Sam McKenna.
That's awesome. And I have to know, Kayla, like, what woman sales role model do you look up to? Is there one?
Myself.
Yes. I like that. Be honest.
You know, I'm just being honest. Like, honestly, like I looked up a Google, right? Sales mentors for women, and everyone in the space, you know, was like maybe like somebody that was in B2B and more corporate, and like, you know, she's was like a way older than me, and I just didn't relate to her, and I was really trying to find it. And honestly, like, my intention here is not to be like, yo, I'm the best. Like, that's not my intention. But I will say that I've made huge sacrifices in my life in order to step up in my leadership, in order to honor the people in my life, in order to become the best mom possible, the best, you know, boss possible, the best, you know, team member. And I really, really strive to just grow every single day. And I know what responsibility that looks like. And I'm here to, you know, pave the path for other women because it's possible for them to be excellent in sales too. And I also honor other women in my space, you know, but I think that the future version of you sometimes can be your best mentor. And you're thinking about like, what would she do? I know what she's capable of. I know what she's possibly going to do. And just thinking about like, how can I become her, and how can I learn, and how can I grow, and how can I develop, and just always looking at that future version of yourself and stepping into her shoes and expanding and growing. You know, like sometimes that's going to be our best lesson, our best teacher.
I love that. Absolutely. I'm always trying to envision who is my future self. I think we should all do that, right? Like, what are we shooting for here? Who is that person I'm trying to become? It's a really healthy thing. No, I really appreciate that. And I see a lot of people are mentioning Sam McKenna in the comments. So if you've been influenced by Sam McKenna, go ahead and plug her in the comments and let her know, because the Whiskey Wednesday show, we've always appreciated Sam McKenna here. Do we have, it looks like we've got some questions. I don't know, this was a long post, so I was trying to see if there was a question there, but feel free to plug in any questions. I'm going to go ahead and get started on these prizes. So you've got like 2 seconds to enter Whiskey Wednesday. So that's tagging it. So you don't want to have the @ sign in it. You want to like actually tag it so it becomes bold. So you want to tag Whiskey Wednesday, tag Proposify, and tag Elite Saleswomen. So you got to write the @ sign and then it'll pop up, and click on it. And these are their logos that you'll see when you do that. And just as a reminder, what you're going to win if you enter to win prize 1 is 30 minutes with Tara LaFawn Gooch on personal branding, an hour cold call session with SD Lab, 30-minute video prospecting with Catherine Caldwell. Catherine, if you're still here in the comments, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. I'm excited that, we've been able to get some Whiskey Wednesday audience members connected with you. Prize 2, we've got Lavender Pro, Brand 30, Rosalind Santa Alina, her 30 minutes, and she will be here next week. That was one thing I failed to mention earlier, by the way. We've got Catherine Caldwell and Rosalind Santa Alina next week. So 2 more awesome, powerful women to talk about these hot topics with us. But before we move on, prize 3, you got 30 minutes with Kayla, 30 minutes with Charlotte, and a headset. So again, enter to win those. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my screen and let's start giving some of these away. And Erica, I don't know if you remember if I showed you, Erica's in the background helping with production on how to play the music. I'm going to get ready to share my screen and we'll start giving you these away. So we'll start with the Whiskey Wednesday one, since that is prize 1. Is everyone seeing my screen? It looks like it. All right. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Prize 1. And the winner is Topher Evans. Wow. Congratulations, Topher. You are the winner. I just went ahead and paused the music. But Topher, I will connect with you. Last week, I think it wasn't until Monday that I actually finally finished getting everyone connected. So give me a little time, let's say at most a week, but probably have it done by Friday. But I'll get you connected with everybody on prize 1, Topher. So congratulations to Topher. If you're in the comments, can everybody please just tag Topher, because he's awesome. He's here every week. He comes to the after party. He deserves this prize. So congratulations, Topher. So happy to have you here. Let's go ahead and do prize 2 here. I'm going to pull that one up, and that is Proposify. So I am ready for music. If you guys can see my screen. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Who's going to win? The winner is, I think it's going to be Tom. I don't know. Maybe Peanut. Oh, it's Jessie Owlette wins prize 2. Congratulations to Jessie Owlette. Jessie, I'll be in touch with you in the next week to get you connected to those prizes. Thank you so much. And the third prize, I'm just going to hop right into it. We're on a roll here. I just stopped my camera. I didn't mean to do that. So Chrome, we want Elite Saleswomen. All right, we had 15 entries and we are ready to draw. Here we go. Who wants to win? Here's Seth, Aaron, Nellie, Sarah, Mark, Catherine, Christina. Congratulations, Christina. You won prize 3. You get the headset and the 30 minutes with Charlotte and 30 minutes with Kayla. So congratulations to you. Congratulations to all of our winners. Thank you so much to everybody who gave away prizes. We've done our Guru of the Week. We did the prizes, and now we just need to get into the after party. So I guess on that note, I'm going to get the link here ready. But as I do that, any feedback on the show, Kayla or Charlotte? I'd love to hear. Oh, I got you cut off there. Let me fix that. Would love to hear your thoughts about just how the show went and just your overall feedback.
I've been on a lot of podcasts before. This was very enjoyable. So fun. I didn't know about the Karen thing. That's freaking hilarious. Everything's very methodical. I loved it. You have great energy. This is great.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I've seen all of your previous sort of advertisements for Whiskey Wednesday, but I've never made it. I'm so thrilled to be on. I know you've had some big guests on previously. Great energy. I could stay for another couple of hours, and I've got to go to bed.
Thank you both for sharing that. I really appreciate that. We try to keep the energy high here. I just plugged in the Google Meet in the private chat for the guests. Of course, I know the audience would love to meet you. No pressure. And then I just plugged it into the comments, but did everybody just see that? Because I did something I don't normally do. So I'm going to go actually into LinkedIn, and I'll put the link here as well. So you can join. It's got a weird meet link. Oh yeah, the Google one, the first one, the meet.google.com. That'll be where the after party is. But we would love to see you in the after party. Hang out, bring a drink of your choice, say hi. Would love to hear how your week's going, if there's anything you're working on, or if you just have any questions for the guests. Come check it out. Let me make sure and pull this up there. All right, there. That's more like it, because normally I hear people starting to plug in. So if you join, let me put them on silent. If you join, I'm like still closing out the show. So there's people in the after party. But I'm going to close out this with a video outro. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please come join the discussion. Guests, do you guys have any questions about where the Google Meet is or how to get there? Okay, cool. Well, I hope you can join. But everybody else, thank you. Have a great week and happy Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye. I'm going to find this video and close it out here.